migration. It's a huge topic, something birds and humans both do, but maybe for really different reasons.
Right. And you shared this fascinating piece with us. It reads almost like a poem or maybe song lyrics. It draws this really striking comparison and contrast, actually.
Yeah, between those two kinds of movement. So for this deep dive, which is tailored just for you, the listener, we really want to unpack that source.
Exactly. The mission is to dig into the main ideas, the questions it sort of throws up, and pull out what this unique perspective on migration offers. It's about what it makes us think, too.
Okay, so right away, the source gives us these clear pictures. Wings in the sky for birds, and then humans are on boats. It starts with the physical journey.
But it pivots fast, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Straight to the why.
Yes. And that's where the big difference seems to lie, according to this text.
It paints the bird migration as, well, really fundamental. They're looking for a new shore, seeking shelter where nesting can pour. It's all tied to survival, life cycle.
Finding a place where love's alive. It feels very essential, basic needs.
Precisely. But then it looks at human movement, and the language just shifts completely. It talks about chasing golden streams.
Getting lost in a world of glittered dreams. The drive isn't shelter in that same way, is it? It's wealth, gold, described as a fleeting glow.
And the source really focuses on the outcome of these different drives. It says birds, they don't hoard, they just survive. There's a kind of simplicity there.
But it sees humans, or at least the humans in this narrative, as sort of trapped by chasing wealth, watching themselves fall, caught in a chain of greed.
Yeah, this endless flight, this constant chasing a place, the source really questions it. It doesn't seem to frame it as meeting a core need, but maybe pursuing something, well, less solid, less vital maybe.
And that makes you think about, the cost. There's that line, the routes they leave will never know. It hits hard.
It really does. It implies this deep loss, a cutting off that happens when the aim is gold, instead of, say, shelter or love, as the source puts it.
It's not just about moving physically, but maybe losing connection to where you came from.
Absolutely. If the birds move to sort of plant temporary roots to nurture life, this human migration, as described here, it seems like it might involve cutting roots for something else entirely.
Which naturally leads to the question of what's the real value of the thing being chased? Is it, worth what's left behind? According to this perspective, anyway.
But then, and this is where I think it gets really interesting, the source doesn't just stop at the critique.
Right. It offers this alternative idea. It asks, what if they stayed and we made them bloom?
Yes. Growing own gardens never in the gloom. That's the core of it.
It seems to suggest that if people work together, share our hands and hearts so wide, then maybe that need to chase wouldn't be there.
No need to flee, no need to hide. It implies the reasons behind this specific kind of human migration, the chasing gold kind, could actually be addressed through cooperation, building things up locally.
So if we step back, what's the big picture this source is painting for you, the listener? It feels like a very metaphorical contrast.
Deeply metaphorical, yeah. Bird migration driven by survival, by love, by instinct, perhaps, versus a type of human migration driven by, well, what it calls a potentially destructive chase for wealth, leaving those unseen roots behind. It's a kind of poetic critique.
It really challenges how we might typically think about why people move, doesn't it?
It does. It's not ignoring economics or politics, but it's choosing to highlight this stark difference, innate needs versus maybe a more manufactured drive. It pushes us beyond the usual discussions to consider the deeper, maybe more emotional forces involved as seen through this particular lens.
And finally, this source leaves you with a pretty powerful thought to consider, drawn right from that hopeful vision it sketched out. If the potential does exist to help things flourish right where people are, just by, as it says, sharing hands and hearts, well, what does that tell us about the real nature of that gold being chased elsewhere?
And crucially, from this source's viewpoint, what's the force that truly cuts those roots? That's something to think about based on the perspective you shared with us.